Hello grade 10s, hope you guys are good. In today's video, we're going to be doing exam type questions for trigonometry. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into it. We're going to start with question 4 and do question 5 as well. So 4.1 says, use a calculator to find the values of the following, correct to 2 decimal places. So 4.1.1, you just have to type on the calculator. And if you type on the calculator, your answer will be 3.625231148, right? But it says correct to 2 decimal places. So your final answer will be 3.63. And then for 4.1.2, you're going to say cos 32 minus 10. It is 22. Divide by 10, 22. So type this into a calculator. You're going to get 0.85966 what. I'm just going to put it here and then over 0.404 and then your answer is going to be 2.127757668. Correct to 2 decimal places, it's going to be 2.13. Let's go to question 4.2. It says calculate theta where theta is between 0 and 90 degrees. So it says 3 sine open bracket theta. For theta, let me use a different sign. Let me just say x, but just know that x represents theta, right? Over 2 minus 20 equals 4.85. So first things first, you want to divide both sides by 3 so that you make sine the subject of the equation. So if you divide both sides by 3, you're going to be left with sine open bracket theta over 2 minus 20 is equal to 0.28333333, right? So now we're here, right? And one thing you want to remember, especially if you're going to be dealing with trig ratios, is that you always want to eliminate the variables that are outside the bracket next to the trig ratio that you're dealing with before you deal with what's within that bracket. So if you looked at previous examples, if nothing else was in this bracket over here, we would have said what's sine to the power of -1 open bracket, and then you add this, and then whatever you found would have been your final answer, right? So not in this instance. This instance, you're gonna say x over 2 minus 20 is equal to sine, and take it, the answer that you got, paste it as is. Okay, and then whatever answer this is going to give you, you're going to add it by 20 because you have to take 20 to this other side, and then that answer you have to multiply it by 2, because to isolate x or to make x the subject of this formula, you have to multiply both sides by 2. Does that make sense? Say theta over 2 or x over 2 minus 20 is equal to, when you type in your calculator, what answer are you going to get? 16.459 blah 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 blah. So that answer, you're going to then add 20, and then you're going to multiply both sides by 2. So x will be 72.91849926. Correct to 2 decimal places, it's going to be 72.92. So question 4.3, they say determine the value of this equation over here without the use of a calculator. So one thing you'll notice about this particular equation is that we are dealing with special angles. Special angles are 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees. Here we have 45 degrees, we have 90, and then we also have 30. On top of us having these special angles, we also have a reciprocal function. So cosec is the reciprocal function of sine. So in the place of cosec, you're going to write 1 over sine 90. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is you're going to apply BODMAS, because this right here, according to BODMAS, is one value. So how are you going to answer this? You're going to say, what is cos 45? It is the square root of 2 over 2. And what's the value of sine 45? It's also the square root of 2 over 2. Now, if you have two values that are identical with each other and you divide them by each other, what is going to be your final answer? Your final answer is going to be 1, because it's similar to dividing 2 by 2. It is going to be 1. Anything that you divide with itself is going to give you a 1. Now, let's deal with what's in this bracket over here. So, 5 by what is cosec of 90? We said you can also write it as 1 over sine 90. But sine 90 we said is 1. So 1 over 1. So it's the same as 5 by 1. Right? Sharp. And then you have this 3. What is 10 of 30? 10 of 30 is 1 over the square root of 3. Square that. What is going to be your value? 1 over 3. And then 1 over 3 by 3 is equal to 3 over 3, which is also equal to 1. You got to write all of them down, by the way. It's going to give you 1 plus 5, and your final answer will be 6. And that will count for 4 marks. So, depending on your marker, just write everything down for peace of mind. For question 5, it says if 5 by cos beta is equals to negative 3. And then for this over here, given that the value of beta is between 180 and 360. So here you have to consult the Cartesian plane. So this is between 0 and 90, 90 and 180, 180 and 270, and then 270 and 360. So they say it falls within this range over here. So what do we know about this range? In this range over here, the y values are 0. Okay, sharp. With the use of a diagram, calculate the value of the following. Do not calculate the value of beta. Right. So first of all, to solve this, you're going to take what's been given to us. I'll replace this with b equals negative 3 cos beta negative 3 over 5. So we're going to draw something here. Now, when you are dealing with trig ratios, especially with this Cartesian plane, we know that cos is x over r. So it means that this negative 3, it is the value of x. and then the distance between 0 and this point over here, which is r, is 5. Now, what is y? To get y, you can use the Pythagoras theorem. We know that in this region, y is negative. So you can say 5 squared is equal to negative 3 squared plus y squared, which is then equal to, what's 5 squared? 25, minus, what's minus 3 squared? 9. So that means y squared is 16 and y is 4. But we said that using this diagram, y is negative. So that means y is negative 4. So for 5.2, we can see here we have cot. Cot, which is the reciprocal function of tangent. So in other words, you can write this as tan minus 1 over tan beta. So what is tan if you're using the diagram? Tan is y over x. So we found our y value, which is negative 4. So it's going to be negative 4 over negative 3, square both of them. And then if you type this into your calculator, you're going to end up with 175 over 144. So let's recap. Here they say with the use of a calculator, determine the following values. For 4.1.1, you just had to type this onto your calculator. And this was your final answer, correct to 2 decimal places. The same thing here, but to make things easier for you, you were supposed to say 32 minus 10, which is 22. Type everything into the calculator, and this was your final answer, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay? Now we are supposed to calculate theta, where theta is between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay. First of all, you're supposed to make what's here the subject of your equation. How are you going to do that? Divide both sides by 3. Now, you're going to take the inverse of sine, which is what we did here. Take that answer, add 20, because you have to take this 20 to the other side, and multiply both sides by 2, and then you're going to be left with theta. And this was your answer. For 4.3, it says without the use of a calculator, determine the following values. Now, it is for 4 marks. What can we say about these values? These are special angles. So the first thing that they want to see for these 4 marks is that you know the values of your special angles. So the cos of 45 degrees is the square root of 2 over 2. The sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Cosec is a reciprocal function of sine, of which you can write also as 1 over sine 90. And what is sine 90? 1. Right? Tan 30 is equal to 1 over the square root of 3. So if you substitute all of these values that they've given you, you're going to end up with 1 here, 5 here, and then here you're going to end up with 3 by 1 over 3, because 1 to the power of 2 is 1, the square root of 3 to the power of 2 is 3. 3 over 3 is 1. So hence we were left with 1 plus 5 by 1. And then 1 plus 5 is 6. And that's your final answer. But for 4 marks, they want you to show all of those values, especially the values of the special angles. And then you've gotten your 11 marks. For 5 marks, then now it says determine the value of these individual questions with the use of a diagram. So first things first, for cos of beta, which I've replaced with b, you are supposed to make this cos of beta the subject of your equation. How are you gonna do that? By dividing both sides by 5. If you divide both sides by 5, you immediately have your x value. And they told us that it is in this region over here. In this region over here, y is also negative. So you have your x value, which is -3. You have your r, which is 5. And then you had to calculate your y using the Pythagoras theorem. So this was your answer, but this was also the value of y. We know that this y is negative because we are in this side. We are on the side of the diagram. You have to use the diagram. That means you have to draw it as well. Okay. Now, looking at this equation, the first thing that you must note is that cot is a reciprocal function of tan. So you're going to rewrite this as 1 over tan beta squared, whatever, all right? And then 10 is y over x. So you're going to substitute the values of y that you've gotten over the value of x that you already have. And this is what we have over here. You use your calculator because here they don't prohibit the use of a calculator. And then this is going to be your final answer. I hope that in the future we get more examples so that we can practice. But this is generally how you would approach such questions in an exam. I hope this made sense. I tried my level best to make this as simple as I could. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. For now though, peace.